Hello, welcome to my quick overview of having built the first part of the M1070. Let's see, what do they call it? The M1070 truck tractor and M1000 heavy equipment transporter semi-tractor. That's what Hobby Boss calls this thing. So this portion would be the M1070 truck tractor, or prime mover is another name for what they have called them, or the semi-tractor. Whatever you end up calling it. That's the part that we finished up real quick. One thing that I got some wordage back from regarding asking if anybody had any questions about this was that part C3 in step 2. So right here, this bar in between. Let's see if I can. There we go. This bar in between here should not be glued to these two side pieces here. Now, to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with what Hobby Boss has told you to do there. And I'll bring that back up. If everybody will turn back to page 5 of their instructions. I'll bring this right here. So right here, you have G30 and G29 being glued on, so they're solid, and then you're not supposed to put any cement for C3, but all it is two little slots in there, so this would be movable, and I think that any issues that you end up having with this might come from gluing these on and any sway back and forth, maybe with the radiator. So I can see that. So be aware that in the instructions on step 2 right in here, they tell you not to glue that piece in. That might be the way to go. Regardless, I think that it turned out just fine. Going back over the entire build, since I also did get my commercial driver's license during the time that I was doing this, I want to say that I've been looking at the parts a lot differently than I normally would as a modeler, because I had to do some pretty intensive training to get my license. And in doing that, what I would say is this kit really gives you almost everything. The only thing that's really missing are the airlines to some degree in the back, and I'd even have to look that up because there are some airlines given. I'm pretty sure that there are a few that aren't. But aside from those airlines, this is a pretty solid representation of the real thing. Might be a little bit soft in detail here and there. Maybe a bolt or two is not exactly where it should be. I don't know that for sure. I just want to say that as a disclaimer. But the linkages in the drivetrain, the setups for the air canisters and the air brakes in the back, the linkage for the setup in the back here as well, fifth wheel, everything, if put together right, is very, very well done. I'm seriously impressed by the engineering. Now, could it be better? Of course it could be better. This isn't the real thing shrunk down. But if you are sitting there going, oh, well, you know, the $100 to $130 price tag of this kit seems a little steep, is it worth it? I would say absolutely it is worth it. Compared to kits that have been available in the past of this and of similar genre, you know, the tractor trailer, tank transporter, or whatever, this is a very good kit, well worth the money. You are getting, in essence, you are getting 3 kits in this. You're getting the entire trailer, you are getting the basic framework of the tractor, and then all the details of the tractor, all the photo etch and all the other parts in here. I can't say that it's perfect, but I can say that it is worth at least the $100 that you're getting. Be the same thing as buying 3 $35 kits. That said, again, this is being sent off to a gentleman who I'm building this for. So this is the sub-assemblies that I have set up here are not exactly the same as the sub-assemblies I would use if I was building this. I probably would have primed some parts in black as I was going along. Regardless, I think this is pretty much ready to go. I've got several of the key parts for transport, the sunshades, the doors, the clevises, the rear view mirrors, or side view mirrors, all ready to go in there. Just as a reminder, the gentleman who I'm building this for wanted to have the resin wheel set that we got from Panzer Art. So these are cleaned up and ready to go. But I've also got all the hubs and wheels here. On my build, I'm probably just going to use the kick tires and hubs as it is. Reminder that the one thing that I wasn't thrilled with were the fuel tanks on either side, and mainly that's because it's a big focus when you get your CDL license to pay attention to that and look at them, the fuel tanks after all, and they really stand out on the kit. And so I went in and I 3D modeled and then printed off my own. I will be putting these up on eBay. I just haven't gotten around to it. I apologize for that. And in the end, some of the biggest challenges that we had, these platforms with these photo etch legs, you know, I don't think you can do much more than that. Plastic wouldn't be better, and even if I 3D printed it, maybe with thicker parts, they're just going to look thicker. I think that might just be the best that it is, and you got to be careful with it. Once all of this stuff is assembled, and you put a coat of primer on it, that primer is also going to help lock parts down, and that is an important thing to note. One other particular place I'm impressed with is if you build these front fenders correctly. Right now, this is setting down on this cardboard, but these two photo etch flaps on each side, that is what this is leaning on, and this thing is rock solid. I am very impressed with how this is put together once it's all fully completed. You know, some of the tedious work we did, these flaps really intimidated me, seriously. Doing these little loops at the top, I think I did an okay job with it. This in particular, I might have tried to have done as a 3D part, but I didn't want to put the extra time into it at that point. I know maybe that's wrong, but that's how I feel about it. Here's the springs that go right through there. Once it's built and not just dry fit, I think that'll work out better than it has so far, just from what I'm seeing and how this is all put together. One other interesting thing about this kit is, let's say you wanted to do this as kind of a 3D spread apart, like you've seen some of the tanks where they'll have the turret off and so you can see inside the turret, and they'll have the turret lifted off of the hull so you can see inside the hull, and the upper hull will be separated from the lower hull so you can see all the interior, and they use like clear dowels to hang them all. I think you could do something like that if you wanted to with this kit. Now that would require you to get the engine block. I believe that's available for this a resin engine block, and mount that in there and do the wiring of it. So it'd be a bit more work if you wanted to do that, but this kit could lend itself to that, and there's already some capability of that. I mean, with the fit, I'm not going to put this completely on, but the fit of the cab cover on the cab itself, and the fit of the cab parts to the hull, and the hood to the hull, and the subassembly of the winch platform on the hull lends itself to that. And there is plenty of detail. Yes, there's room for improvement. You could do stuff, and that's where that little bit of extra would really stand out. But this is a great base kit to start with. So that's where things stand. This is everything for the truck itself, minus the rest of the rubber wheels on here. Now there are a few other details that'll get added later on, and I wanted to point that out now because we got through step 32, just a reminder, where the front bumper's supposed to be put on and things like that. Sorry. But if you go to all the way to the end, so it's going to be step 23 for the trailer, page 48. you're going to see that there are a number of hoses, and I will, there we go, I will do like this. There are a number of hoses that get done. Now, technically, unless I am remembering things wrong, and I don't think I am, you need to only have a red hose and a blue hose, or a red hose and a black hose. I guess it would depend. I'm going to have to look that up in particular, but they give you the hoses in the kit, and I did not look them up before I did this video, so shame on me. But you also have the ducting that needs to be put in. So there's a little bit that's going to have to be done. Oh, here we go. Blue and red. Yep, I was right. Blue and red initially, although they say buell. So the red line and the blue line, you're only making one of each, hanging them up and attaching them onto the vehicle. And these are the air connections from the cab to the trailer, so that the trailer's air brakes work. Very important stuff. And as a little hint, just so you know, if you decide to show these all hooked up properly, do not let the hoses touch the deck in the back ever, even if they're disconnected. That's a big no-no in the CDL world. So if you were to model it and show those lines just draping or laying on part of the truck, somebody might sit and say, hey, that's not right, and you know how much we all love to hear that. Other than that, I just wanted to point out that that's the only thing with involving the cab or the drive unit or the power unit or the semi that isn't in this right here. And that'll be later on. I'll cover that as step 23. But again, just wanted to go over this real quick, show you where I'm at with the parts, and get started on the trailer. So I'll see you for step 1 of the trailer.